Hello peoples and popples, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, feel free to please, thank you, call me Flora. And if you're not new here, thanks for coming back. I'm glad you've been enjoying my low quality content. Pew, pew, pew. Today I will be doing a video that is going to be the first in a series I'm planning called B.B.F. And that stands for Bookish Bitch Fits. And the reason I decided to do this is because after the umpteenth time of complaining or ranting at my friends and coworkers about any kind of topic that is vaguely bookish, I decided maybe you guys would like to hear me rant too. Maybe. If not, you can escape. It's okay. But today I will be doing my bookish bitch fit about kind of crappy reviews. And when I say that, I don't mean that their reviews are bad simply because they're not positive towards a book. No, I think all reviews are valid, with an asterisk. I believe that all reviews that actually have to do with the content of the book are valid, and that your rating is valid. I also think that reviews are for other readers. They're not for authors. So if you don't like a book, put that out there. Explain why you don't like it so that newer readers who are looking to be interested in the book can see why you didn't like it. Perhaps they like something about that book that you do not, or maybe they would really hate something that you love. I know that's how I usually decide on a book. I'm like, oh, this person liked this because it is focused heavily on romance. I guess I need to just exit stage left. But anyway, so today I will be ranting about kind of crappy book reviews. And I've seen a few floating around the internet. I've seen a few that were just like, whoa, you were a little problematic. But I'm going to focus today on two specific reviews. Both are for manga that I was looking to go ahead and buy from Amazon. I haven't bought them yet because your girl's broke. But they're both queer focused. So one is by a Own Voices trans author, and it is specifically about her own life story. And then the other one, I cannot remember if it was Own Voices, but it was another author who was focusing mainly on queer story. So let's get into it. So for the first one, I have to bring up my phone because I don't know if you know this, but my brain's not perfect. We're going to start with I Married My Best Friend to Shut My Parents Up by Kadoma Naoko. And it is going to be, it's a cute little story as far as I can tell by the description. I'll read it to you. Morimoto, a young professional woman in Japan, wishes her parents would stop trying to get her to marry a man and settle down. In an unexpected move, her friend from high school offers to be her wife in a sham marriage to make Morimoto's parents back off. But this fake marriage could unearth something very real. Basically, they fall in love after they get married. Something you see frequently in, straight stories. Great. Have at it. It's fun. It's cute. Everyone loves a little falling in love. I don't mind it when I'm specifically looking for it. And so, I was like, oh my god, this sounds cute. But my favorite thing to do is always I like to read bad reviews. I like to read negative reviews of books that I think I'm going to enjoy. Not because that's going to deter me. I've bought a lot of things where like the negative reviews were like, this is the worst book ever. But because I'm like, is there a valid reason that I personally would not want to read it? Like, does it have some very sketchy, like, racial issues? Does it have some very sketchy gender issues? I like to read those negative reviews. And sometimes they're just plain funny because people will write an entire sonnet about a fucking book. And I'm like, yes, tell me more. I do that for my makeup reviews. I also do it for any kind of product that I buy. I love to read the worst review I can find. Because it's always like, you've got 15,000 amazing reviews. Great. Let me know why that one person over in the corner didn't like it. Because maybe I agree with them. And even if I do, I'm probably still going to read it anyway. Because the cover's so cute. Anyway, back to the actual review. So the review that I disliked, it was a 2-star, which isn't necessarily the worst kind of rating you can get. But the way they talked about it, I was just like, okay. So I'm not going to put this person's name, but they decided that the book was clever but unappealing. To be honest, I lost interest so quick. I barely read enough to give a limited review. First of all, if you didn't read enough to give a review, why are you here? The thing that turned Pi off, I think they meant to say me. The thing that turned me off immediately was the portrayal that a homosexual marriage is, one, something trivial to be done at the convenience and not even worthy of building up to in the storyline, and two, something to be considered suitable and equal replacement for the main character's parents' heterosexual marriage hopes. To shut them up, okay, that is an appealing curiosity, but to take the whole gay/homosexual thing so recklessly is surely evidence that here's the good part. But to take the whole gay/homosexual thing so recklessly is surely evidence of the worst sort of collective psyche deterioration and societal failing since violent prejudice that preceded it. I only gave as much as 2 stars because the talent of the author deserves more than 1 star. So what you're telling me is that you feel that just because the story focuses on queer people, that it can't be light and fluffy. Are you going to tell me that every story out there, every trope that you can find, a queer person can't do it? Because it's too fluffy. It's not taking marriage seriously enough. How many fucking books are out there where this girl decides to marry her best guy friend or pretend to date him because, oh, I don't want to be alone at the wedding. Oh, so they get to do that. They get to have that frivolous story, that frivolous, cute little rom-com. And that's fine because they're straight. But because this book focuses on lesbians and they're falling in love and they're doing funny little wacky coinkydinks by pretending to be a relationship, oh no. That is a deterioration of the collective psyche of society. Wow. Hot take, huh? I mean, you're wrong. You can have your wrong opinion. I'm just curious about why. And what do you mean gay thing? Like, I have a question for you. So why did you pick this book up? Because it clearly said its premise ahead of time. And you clearly were curious about it. But did you think they were suddenly going to be way more serious about it once the story started? Because it clearly says she married her best friend for the convenience of things. So it's not like she married a fucking stranger, which is just as fine as far as I'm concerned. She just decided that she was going to marry her best friend, someone who she already knows she can live around at the very least. And who her parents apparently like. So, oh, you're mad because her parents didn't throw a bitch fit that she married a woman? Oh, I'm sorry. If you really wanted a story about homophobic parents, let me let you know. There's a ton of them out there, so this was not the time. Anyway, this review annoyed me because they clearly stated that they realized the premise of this book. But then they also clearly stated that because it's gay, it's a deterioration of society. Think about that. Wow. Because they're not respecting homosexual relationships because they're allowing them to live in those same tropes that the straights get. Sad face. As a queer woman, I just want to let you know, we get to have fluffy, cute romances that don't make sense. We get to ignore the horrible things that happen in society every once in a while. Know why? Because no one wants to be depressed all the fucking time. We live it. We get it. Okay? Okay. Great. Now, moving on to the next one. I'm done with that book, I promise. Probably. The next one that I want to talk about is another manga. This one is by an Own Voices author. She is called Chi. And the book is The Bride Was a Boy. This book, I'm going to read you the synopsis from it. It is a diary comic with an upbeat, adorable flair that tells the charming tale of Chi, a woman assigned male at birth. Her story starts with her childhood and follows the ups and downs of exploring her sexuality, gender, and transition, as well as falling in love with a man who's head over heels for her. Now Chi is about to embark on a new adventure, becoming a bride. And so that's cute. And this is the author's own story, and she's telling it how she wants to tell it. And let me just let you know that the illustrations look adorable from what I can tell. When I finally read it, I'll get to know if it's that adorable the whole way through. But for now, those illustrations look muy cute. Muy cute. And so, we know from the beginning, this is her telling her story, her way, in a cute fashion. Because it literally says a diary, well, it's a diary comic. But basically she's just putting it out there. She can tell her story however she wants. except apparently to this person. Again, I'm not going to put their name or anything on. They also gave it 2 stars, and they said, as a non-binary person myself, I was quite looking forward to this release. I found it to be a bit on the disappointing side as the art is functional and not much else. I felt that the author overly simplified her transition in life. She doesn't show much of anything in the way of conflict or issues that she had with her family and her gender reassignment surgery, which comes across as overly rosy and doesn't do a whole lot to shed light on issues that may have been helpful to educate readers. The dynamic with her husband is one-dimensional as well. So, ignoring the part where they didn't like the illustrations, that's fine. Ignoring the part where they didn't like her relationship with her husband, that's fine. Let's find that little middle part of that review, okay? So you dislike this book because she didn't decide to use her story as a teaching moment for you. You, as a non-binary person, are perfectly valid in your feelings that this book might not have represented your journey. It might not have represented what you thought this was going to be. But to say that it's not a good book because it's not an instruction manual or an example setter for the issues that you face when you go through transition is kind of rude, right? Like, would you like to write down your own story and have someone tell you that the way you put it out into the world was wrong because it didn't fit what they preferred? Like, this is her story. She does not have to go in depth about any issues she might have faced. Because you know what? It's her life. It's not your suffer porn, okay? So, again, you're valid in your feelings that maybe you didn't connect with this, but you're not valid in saying that the author should have put more education in there. No. Minorities, regardless of if you're in the same group as them, are not required to educate you on anything. So, personal opinions, I'm just saying. And I'm done talking about these books in particular. I'm excited to pick them both up. I think they're going to be cute. I'm really excited for The Bride Was a Boy because I like her animation based on her cover. I don't know what the inside looks like. And then just more general discussion of things. I've seen a few reviews on the interwebs in the world where there's low star reviews on books focusing on people of color, and especially if it's in an Asian country, or if it's focusing on an Asian main character, or if it's focusing on a South American main character. And they have this idea that it needs to focus in depth on food. Like, yes, it is a big part of a lot of cultures, but if the author does not focus on it because their story is taking, like, the rest of the story is taking precedent, they didn't teach me enough about cultural food. It's not a cookbook, honey. So figure that shit out. Or when it focuses on a Black main character, this doesn't seem realistic. She didn't suffer enough. I didn't learn enough. Ma'am, I suffer every day. Okay? Why does every book that concerns a person of color or a queer person or a woman have to focus on suffering? Why do you need that to enjoy a book? There's so many out there, but you choose the ones where we finally get a happy ending, where we finally get to just do the fluffy shit that white people get to do, that straight people get to do, that men get to do. You finally get to see us doing these things, and you're like, wasn't as good as it could have been because they're not crying in a fucking corner and being treated like shit. Gee, thanks. We really appreciate that. We love it when you use our life stories as danger porn. It's great. Anyway, so as you can tell, I'm a little annoyed. And the reason for that is I just hate the idea that people who read a book don't read it for the plot. They don't read it for the characters. They're reading it specifically because they expect it to be some kind of instruction manual or some kind of cookbook or some kind of, as I keep saying, torture porn, because they want to see us suffer or else it's not good. But what I'm saying, and what I'm not saying well because it's a rant and there's not a real structure to this video, is that I'm fucking tired. That's it. I'm tired. I'm tired of people who review things like this who are like, I didn't learn enough. Well, bitch, you weren't meant to learn anything. You were meant to read the book, enjoy the story as it goes. If you want to learn something, Google it. Pick up a fucking dictionary and you can learn some new words. Maybe you can learn what it means to enjoy a book and that it's fiction. Yes, we know we suffer. Yes, we know that a lot of parents are going to be homophobic. Yes, we know that society's not always going to be kind. Yes, we know that transition is not going to be easy all the time for anyone. And even the easiest of transitions aren't really easy. So first, the fucking all. Get your head out of your ass and stop seeing this book as something that was written specifically for you. Because, hate to be the one to point it out, but the sun doesn't rise and set for you. Are you mad at the sun because it set at a weird time? Did that not work with your life? Did you not learn enough from the sun before it set? Are you angry that the moon followed? Tell me. Because you seem like you're a little self-centered. So, anyway, thanks for sitting through my rant. You might agree with me. You might not. I don't know if it was very structured. I don't know if I put my points out there correctly. But you know what? This is a one-take video. I'm just going to throw in those pictures of the covers and the reviews, and we're going to move on with our lives. Have you ever come across a review that you're just like, if so, let me know which one for what book. Maybe I'll read it, unless it's heavy on the romance and it's not a romance-focused book, at which point I probably won't. Sorry. If you like me, please feel free to come back and I'll give you some more of this low-quality goodness. If you don't like me, deuces. I hope you have a nice day. You can find all my social media down below. I rarely post on my Instagram, but I am on Twitter a lot. And you could also click the bell notification if you do decide to subscribe. You can just know when I finally update, because I don't do it very quickly. But anyway, thanks guys for coming to visit, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!